You're listening to the Better Relationships After Baby podcast, where I believe your relationship can be stronger than ever after having a baby. It just takes tools, conversation, and support to help you get there. I'm Chelsea Skaggs, certified life and relationship coach, mom of two, and survivor and thriver of tough relationship challenges after babies. I'm committed to helping couples just like you improve your communication skills, connection points, and personal confidence so that you can have the life and family you've always dreamt of. Now, let's get to today's episode.
It's summer, and I heard that you have been a little hard on yourself, on your body. Your inner critic is showing up. Maybe you're not saying nice things to yourself. If that's you, we are having a chat today. We're going to be talking about body image and the impact it has on you and the impact it has on your relationship with your partner and why healing and taking care of and just being intentional about your body image is an important part of your personal journey and of your relationship and how you show up there. So if we have not met yet, I'm Chelsea Skaggs. I'm a life and relationship coach, and I help people through some of those big transitions. Oftentimes that is preparing for a baby or life in the first couple of years after baby or life 4, 5, 6 years after having a baby when you're starting to put your relationship back on the forefront. And I know that there are a number of things that impact the relationship all throughout the different stages, but especially after having a baby, those big changes in your life. And I'm here to help you understand yourself and feel confident in communicating those thoughts and those feelings with your partner, with those important to you, knowing how to advocate for yourself, how to take care of yourself, how to connect with yourself again, and how to really build that communication and teamwork and connection with your partner. And so today we're going to be talking about how we do this through the deeply personal but widely experienced reality that is body image and the impact on our relationship. Let's be real, per usual, women's identity and worth have been tied to body image by our society for ages. I mean, I don't know what this was like for the cave women and maybe generations after that. But as long as we have history of, there is evidence that body image has been, or just the body, the way that we see and understand and appreciate or don't appreciate a woman's body, has been a part of our society. We are bombarded with images and messages that dictate what we should look like and how those ideals don't change when we become mothers. So how does this societal conditioning affect us? And then how does that affect our relationships? Let's look at how society has shaped our understanding of body image. So we have women being valued on their physical appearance. We see these ideals perpetuated through modern media, advertisements, movies, TV shows, and social media, where we're continuously getting this image of the perfect woman, one who is slim and toned and often still photoshopped to hit those unattainable standards. The rise of diverse sizes and looks of models, it has potentially helped and made progress, but we are still so far away from a place where we can feel like we are who we are, without that being highly dictated by our body and our physical appearance as women. And I think that the rise of social media has truly exacerbated this issue because we are now exposed to dozens and hundreds and thousands, and probably at this point, we've seen millions of curated images of perfection, in the palm of our hands on a daily basis. Whereas at one point, it was, okay, well, that's the woman in the magazine. That's the woman on the TV screen. Now it's like, well, this is the mom sitting at home with her 3 kids, and her homestead and her homemade noodles and bread and whatever else. And we're seeing inside of her home, and still it looks like possibly she has it going on better than I do. Like, there's so many opportunities to compare that it is I don't think our brains were meant for this or have the capacity for this. So this is on a daily basis. We have this bounce back culture, which demands that women return to their pre-pregnancy bodies almost immediately after giving birth. Bounce back is not a flex, you guys. Bounce back is a lot of things that looks different for everyone. And why are we bouncing back, right? Like, we're a new person. Let's bounce forward. That's what I say. Let's bounce forward into bodies and brains and experiences and family and connection that we can be proud of. But the bounce back culture is still here, and it sucks. We still see celebrities and influencers showing off their rapid postpartum #transformations and setting this unrealistic standard for new mothers. It was bad 7 years ago when I became a mom for the first time, but y'all, I'm feeling sorry for you right now because it is everywhere. Yes, you have some more realistic bodies and experiences showing up online. Thank goodness, Mother Universe, for that. But also, there's just more and more and more content in our faces. And these are not only pervasive, but they're oftentimes still highly edited. So we have this false narrative that such rapid recovery is normal and expected. And we're going to talk about this in a minute, but it doesn't help that so many people still see providers that are pretty dismissive of mom's needs after having a baby. Like my friend, I think it was Lisa, who I first heard this from. She's an incredible leader and just someone in the maternal mental health space that has really, really impacted my life in such a beautiful way. But she said, the mom is the wrapper and the baby is the gum. And so in a lot of ways, society, when the gum's out of the wrapper, who cares about the wrapper? It's all about the gum. And a lot of moms are feeling that experience when it comes to their own bodies healing and understanding their brains and all of these changes. To me, it feels like women are expected to have babies, but then look like they didn't. We're expected to make babies, but then act like we're not sexual beings. Both of these narratives are harmful and honestly bullshit. Something that doesn't help is comments, maybe even from well-meaning or awkward family, friends, and strangers that can reinforce the idea that a woman's value is tied to her appearance. So questions like, oh, how are you losing the baby weight? Or remarks like, oh, you look great for just having a baby. Maybe they're well-intentioned, but they're outdated. These are subtly reinforcing that expectation that new moms should prioritize their physical appearance. That is where their value comes from. And it's not just unrealistic, it is damaging. They create an environment where new mothers feel this immense pressure to look a certain way, often at the expense of their mental and truly physical health. Like, if you've had a baby recently, you need food in your body. You need calories. There is a lot of healing that needs to happen. You need to be giving yourself so much love and grace and not criticizing yourself, and maybe you're not getting what you need to support your recovery and your mental and physical health. This can be really damaging. So this emphasis on appearance can often just overshadow for women the incredible achievement of having a baby. It is complex. It is transformative having a child. And yet so many times it's minimized. Our motherhood story is minimized to this superficial measure of success that is your body. And so, of course, women are struggling all around the world, all around our country, in the United States, I know that, are struggling with body image and this expectation of themselves after baby. So this, again, impacts you and your relationship with yourself. It impacts your relationship with your partner and how you're willing to show up and connect, and the confidence or the vulnerabilities that you feel in your relationship and in intimacy. And quite frankly, I think that it impacts our partners too, who see these images themselves. I mean, the magazine stands, they're still there in the tabloids about who lost the baby weight and what they look like 6 weeks postpartum. But it's showing up on social media there too. And so whether, these partners are trying to be weird, I don't know the word for it, but whether they're trying to be, weird and seeing these people's stories, so much is coming across our screens these days. And they're seeing these images too. And so whether or not they're outwardly creating this expectation, it's in their subconscious. And so I think the really good men are actively battling that. They're actively saying, this is not realistic. This is not helpful to me and my partner. This is not an expectation I want to hold. I want to support my wife. But it's getting planted in there. That was kind of a rant. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually. Another problem that is staring us in the face is that lack of education about how our bodies change during pregnancy and postpartum. So I talked a little bit about the providers and society and people and the baby being the gum and you being the wrapper. So many women are left in the dark about their own bodies because so much attention shifts even from most medical professionals to a focus on the baby. And there can be such a lack of understanding of what to expect. So in case no one told you, I am not a medical provider. I'm not here as a medical provider, but I want to share some of the changes that do happen through pregnancy, early postpartum, and the time after that. Just in case, your provider didn't sit down and take the time to talk through this, or they didn't have the time because, I don't know, they had to bill insurance. Like, there's so many problems and complexities, but I won't go off on a tangent about insurance and medical care in America. All right, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go into those changes. One is your boobs, your breasts. This is one of the most noticeable changes in your breasts. During pregnancy, those boobs are going to increase in size due to hormonal changes and preparing for breastfeeding. After giving birth, whether or not you choose to breastfeed, your boobs are going to continue to change. Initially, they're going to become larger and heavier as they fill with milk. So this can cause your skin to stretch, potentially leading to boob stretch marks. Once breastfeeding ends, or as milk production stabilizes, then the breasts often become smaller. They may not return to their pre-pregnancy size or shape. They might appear less firm or saggy, which is a natural consequence or natural thing that happens in the process. I was so insecure for the longest time, and honestly, it still kind of bothers me, but they've changed quite a bit. I had a side when I was breastfeeding my son. I breastfed him for a little bit over a year. And there was a side that he preferred to nurse on, I think in retrospect, because he had torticollis, until I took him to the chiropractor and we got that figured out. But that side just established as the dominant boob, and it got bigger. And when I stopped breastfeeding, that boob is still a little bit bigger. They're noticeably uneven and they hang. Now, this is so weird to say this. I don't want you guys to come analyze my pictures, but they hang a little bit differently. I think just because of the size and the shape and how it changed. This can be, just a little disheartening. I am let's love our body. Let's celebrate it. I'm an advocate of that, but I'm also here to say that sometimes it just feels shitty and disheartening to be oh my God, look how much they changed, or they're uneven in size, or they don't hang in the same place. And so it's hard to go without a bra because one boob feels like it's 7 feet below the other one, I'm just normalizing yay, body image, be positive, but also it can just suck to have your body change so much. And to then be met by a society that is not necessarily celebrating that, but criticizing getting your body quote unquote back. So it just sucks. Also the functionality of your breast change. And so for some women, Breastfeeding can cause discomfort, engorgement, or infections like mastitis. So, these challenges, coupled with the aesthetic changes, obviously can impact a woman's perception of her body and femininity. And then when we're talking about like the relationship and the intimacy part, I think that for some women, like especially if you are breastfeeding or pumping, um, which I also pumped for a long time and can tell you stories about how that just is different, right? You just see the function of it differently. And sometimes it can be hard to like see your boobs as like playful and sexy and part of intimacy when they're also serving such a different purpose. All right, belly changes. These are gonna happen too. This is maybe like the most noticeable um when we're talking about body image and bounce back and all of that. But the abdomen or belly undergoes significant changes, obviously, during and after pregnancy. So again, shape and size. During pregnancy, the belly is expanding to accommodate a growing human, which stretches the skin, it stretches the abdominal muscles. And then after birth, the uterus takes time to shrink back to its normal size, and the skin and muscles may remain stretched. For many women, this means the belly does not return to its pre pregnancy state. It might be softer or feel like it's a pooch or display some loose skin. Um, there's also just so much at play with genetics and personal circumstances. And I was this person after my first that I quote unquote bounced back very quickly and very well. My second, not as much. But the reality was that underneath that all was genetics, was very like personal circumstances. It's not that I was a better person or had a better body or anything like that. It just happened. It just fucking happened. And so now it just like really bugs me, probably because I was this person 7 years ago. But when I see people who are like, da, 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 this is how I just quote unquote bounce back. And it usually comes with the words like, hey girl. I can say that because I'm an ex MLMer. I started my online work with Beachbody, which I mean, I try to say no shade, but honestly, there is shade. I think it's a pretty shady organization, at least overall. And their messaging, as much as they've tried to keep up with culture, just isn't great. They have some good workouts, but I was not qualified to teach people how to work out and eat after having a baby. And yet, that is what I was told to do. And it often started with, hey, girl. And the reality is that, yes, I worked hard after baby, but also there was just a lot of factors in my favor to have that quote unquote like bounce back body. And I said all of that to say now that when I see someone be like, here's what I did, or 7 days to da 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 da, or if you really love yourself, you'll just, commit to getting your body back. And it's like, okay, but also there's a lot of factors. Okay. So the way that your uterus stretches and the way that your belly stretches, like this is just going to impact what it looks like after having a baby. All right. There's diastasis recti, which some women experience, where the abdominal muscles separate during pregnancy. So this can cause like the look of a protruding belly, and it requires some specific exercises or physical therapy to help close that gap. If you're experiencing this, like do look up the diastasis recti, like finger test online if you want to check that out. But there are some great after baby exercise therapists and PTs who can help you. Two that I can think of the top of my head. One is Julie, who has a business called Strong Body, Strong Mama. She is who helped me after my second baby intentionally and well-roundedly, like holistically, reconnect to movement in my body after having a baby. And she has a lot of online resources. And there's also Jess at Your Postpartum PT. And she also has online options. So if you're noticing diastasis recti, or you just, you want to restore your core and your pelvic floor and all of this, again, after having a baby, please don't just turn on the Denise Summers workout or like Paula Abdul, Richard Simmons. Please tell me some of you grew up doing this with your moms too. But find someone that's a specialist that can really, really help you. And then we talked about like stretch marks are common on the belly due to the rapid expansion of the skin. Your skin is growing quickly. These marks could start as reddish or purple lines and gradually fade to a lighter color. While they're completely natural, like these can be something you see and you're not used to seeing. So that can just be weird. But it's fine. It's natural. Okay? I'm not saying it's easy to love and accept, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. I already talked about this a little bit, but your pelvic floor is a group of muscles that support the bladder, the bowel, the uterus, and it undergoes significant changes again during pregnancy and childbirth. So, pregnancy puts pressure on the pelvic floor, and childbirth, especially in a vaginal delivery, can further weaken these muscles. So, this can lead to issues such as urinary incontinence, those of you who are leaking when you're coughing or sneezing or exercising, fecal incontinence, even, and pelvic organ prolapse, which is where the pelvic organs like they feel heavy on you because they're dropped from their normal position. I talked to you guys a minute ago about how I had a pretty like societally celebrated bounce back after my first baby. But here's what I didn't tell you. I was also pissing my pants. I also couldn't hold a fart because I focused so much on losing weight. I had absolutely, absolutely no idea how to take care of my core and my pelvic floor while doing that. So, externally, awesome. Transformation photos, 10 out of 10. Inside, I had no fucking idea what was going on, what had happened, and how to truly heal my body. Whew, I could get so fired up about this. So, prioritize what matters, which is connecting with your body from the inside out, not just trying to lose all the weight and still piss your pants. Like, I have a 5 and 7-year-old. We love to go to the trampoline park. If I had not taken time to intentionally learn how to heal my core and specifically my pelvic floor after my second and last baby, I would not be able to go have fun and jump on the trampoline with them. Doesn't matter how much weight I had lost if I am pissing myself on the children's trampoline, okay? And this, we're talking about relationships here. I want to keep tying it back to that. The changes in your pelvic floor can also impact sexual function. So some women are going to experience pain during sex or reduced sensation or difficulty reaching an orgasm. So these issues can be just stressing and they're like vulnerable and you're doing something you've done so many times before, but now it's different and you're not quite sure how. Like this can impact a woman's confidence and intimacy with her partner. Before I get into some what the heck do we do about this, I do want to let you know that I created a free body image journaling download to help you navigate these changes and start your journey toward a healthier body image. So go down to the show notes really quick and find that link. And it's simple. It's just a couple journal prompts, but they are to get you thinking about how your body image is impacting you and your relationship and get the conversation started. So how does this all tie into our relationships? Well, when we struggle with body image, it doesn't just stay in our heads. It spills over into our interactions with our partners. Here's 5 ways that I have seen in my clients that postpartum body image is impacting sex and intimacy. So I'm talking about this with my one-on-one clients who are moms who are working with me on their, personal journey. I am talking about this with couples who are not feeling, like their intimacy is in a place that they both love and agree on. So these are 5 things that are happening here. Maybe not all of these are happening for you, but probably one of them is. First of all is the projection of your own inner critic. When you're critical of yourself, you project those feelings onto your partner. So you might assume that they see us the same way our inner critic does, which can create distance and insecurity in the relationship. So if you are not showing up, you are withdrawing from your partner, you are assuming that they are having negative thoughts and feelings about you, you're probably dealing with that projection of your inner critic. Or else they have said something to you that was really rude. Or, they're ignorant and they are not understanding the changes and they've made shitty comments. And if that's the case, that's a whole other conversation. That's a shitty partner. Number 2 is the lack of communication. So if you're not confident in your body, you're less likely to express your needs and desires. So if that's happening, if you're not communicating because you're not feeling confident, maybe you're not feeling worthy, you're probably not expressing your needs and desires, and then you're having less satisfying sexual experiences and just feeling bleh, the disconnect. There could be anxiety during intimacy. So if those negative thoughts about your body are consuming you during intimate moments, it's going to be hella hard for you to relax and be present. And unrelaxed and unpresent sex is, in my opinion, not great. Difficulty with arousal. So your body image issues can interfere with the ability to even become aroused. So then, you are more tense. You are less in the moment. You're probably going to have physical discomfort and less enjoyable sex. And then you might have the reduced confidence to even experiment with something. So without body confidence, people are less likely to try new positions or new activities that could enhance intimacy in this season. So healing that body image is important. And this is for your well-being and your relationship. So I want to leave you with 3 steps that you can take to improve your body image and in turn, your relationship and your intimacy with your partner. Number 1 is educating yourself. So learn about the changes your body has gone through. This can be incredibly empowering, especially if this has not been passed down to you from family members or your medical provider or people around you. Knowledge helps you understand and appreciate your body's resilience and strength. So you could start by reading a book. You could start by watching, a channel that is maybe from a pelvic floor therapist or a nutritionist or someone who is educated on the body in those different aspects and the postpartum health. Get to know postpartum health. Ask your provider next time you're there more specific questions. Don't be afraid to take up that time. Connect with a professional that can help you understand that. Maybe it's an exercise specialist who works with pregnancy and postpartum. Maybe it's your physical therapist. Maybe it is a book about the 4th trimester by Kimberly Ann Johnson, which covers physical, emotional, and social changes after birth. Look for some live workshops around you. Or if we are working together, I'm going to be working through these things with you as well. Not as a medical professional, but as someone who has worked in this space for a while and learned from some great people just to give you some education. And the thing with that is then you can talk to your partner better and more clearly. And you know what? This isn't your job to completely learn about it yourself and then give your, notes to your partner. Ask them to also look up some information, become educated, talk to a professional about how a woman's body changes and set more realistic expectations. Number 2 is to wear some clothes that fit now. I don't care if you have a bougie budget and you want to go to a boutique. Bougie budget boutique. If someone needs a shop name for maybe Newport Beach or I don't know, the main drag at Laguna. I could see that there. Bougie budget boutique. But whether that's where you are or whether you go to the local thrift store or consignment store, which is totally usually my jam, get some clothes that make you feel good about your current body. Okay, you need to step out daily feeling confident and comfortable, not trying to fit into a past version of yourself. So go shopping wherever it is you go for new clothes that flatter your current shape. Feel attractive and comfortable in where you are and what your body is now. There's also the option, if you want to invest more in hiring a personal stylist who's familiar with postpartum fashion and finds the types of outfits that can suit your body and help boost your confidence. I'm sure that there are, some online fashion bloggers who are in postpartum too, with tips and tricks to just dress your new body in a way you feel good about. And you know what? If you want to keep the pre-baby clothes, awesome. Put them in a box, or a bin or whatever, and put them away for now. Stop filling your closet with clothes you can't wear right now and moving through them every day, telling yourself, oh, I'm so fat, or I'm so dumb, or I'm so ugly, or I can't believe I can't fit this now, or oh, if only I could wear this again. Like, you're fucking torturing yourself if you are just continuing to do that. Put those clothes away. Give them away if you want, or put them away if you think you'll come back to them later. But get some clothes in your closet that you can feel good about now. And then communicate with your partner. You guys hear me say this every week, multiple times a week. Open, honest communication is key. So share those feelings about your body. Let your partner know how they can support you. Use this as a chance to strengthen your bond and create a safe space for intimacy. Using those journal prompts I talked about down in the podcast details are going to be helpful for that. Use those I statements like, I'm feeling insecure about my stretch marks and I need some reassurance. I'm having a hard time comparing myself with this other mom on Instagram who had a baby the same week that I did because it looks like she's just easily dropped all the weight and none of my clothes fit. Let them in on that experience. If they're, I'm hoping they're a safe person to open up to and do that. And this can be something, that you do at your regular check-ins. If we haven't talked about regular check-ins, which I call weekly business meetings, find a podcast or ask me about them, because this is also a time where you can discuss, how you're feeling each week, what you need, and just stay connected. And a last reminder to get that healing body image journal page in the show notes description for free by following that link. And if you are struggling with body image and it is impacting your relationship, consider booking a call with me. As a coach, I help people just like you navigate these challenges and build confidence and foster a deeper, intentional connection with their partners. And you deserve that too. You deserve to feel good in your body and to have a thriving relationship that you're proud of. So I'll also put a link below for how you can schedule some time with me to just learn about coaching. And if nothing else, we get the chance to chat and share our stories a little bit, which is really fun for me. In case no one's told you today, mama, your body is strong and beautiful and deserving of love and appreciation. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you take a minute to help spread the word. As a small business owner, shares and reviews go a long way. So share this episode with a friend, share it on your social media, and please leave a review if you haven't done so. This helps these messages get to more mamas, and you guys, that's how we change the world.